Have you ever just, like, stopped and noticed that intensity that pure loyalty players have for their mains?
Yeah.
Especially in games like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Oh, absolutely. It's fierce.
It's more than just picking who's best, right? It
Yeah.
feels almost ideological.
Yeah.
Like a conviction. People don't just pick a character. They're picking a whole philosophy of power, maybe even aesthetics.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, it definitely goes beyond just the moveset. It's about who you want to be on that screen. And, well, what we're diving into today is this really fascinating, almost aggressive viewpoint from our sources.
Aggressive is a good word for it.
Yeah, it argues for the only characters that truly matter in some huge franchises. And spoiler, it's usually not the main hero. It often leans towards antagonists, anti-heroes, or even specific looks or genders.
So our mission today is basically to unpack why. Why does this perspective insist that the real essence of a series like Metroid or Mario isn't Samus or Mario, but someone darker, someone representing power, maybe destruction, moral gray area?
Exactly. We're looking at why these characters, the ones often dripping with power, cool designs, maybe a bit of ambiguity, get prioritized over the straightforward good guys.
It's a deep dive into what true power means in gaming, at least according to this particular set of arguments.
Right. The sources are basically saying, forget the usual heroes. We need to understand the appeal of the apex predator, the character who causes the conflict. Okay, let's get into it and see who this viewpoint crowns as the ruling class of the gaming universe.
Okay, let's start with maybe the ultimate icons of power and, well, destruction. We're talking Metroid. According to the source material we're looking at, Dark Samus and Ridley, they're objectively the best, like the only ones that really count.
Which is, wow, that's a pretty direct rejection of Samus Aran herself, the series heroine.
Completely. Regular Samus, in the power suit. The source just labels her a generic space hero, kind of flat.
And Zero Suit Samus gets it even worse, right?
Oh yeah, flatly dismissed, called a fan service variant. Basically, all style, no substance, none of the menace they think defines Metroid.
So who does have that substance, according to them?
Dark Samus. She's positioned as superior in absolutely every way. The design's cooler, way more menacing presence. She's the embodiment of that corrupted Phazon power, that mystery.
And in Smash, how does that translate?
The source points to her movement. It's described as more ethereal, less grounded than regular Samus. It gives her this relentless, destructive aura, apparently. Very different from the standard hero feel.
Okay, so Dark Samus is the corrupted power. What about Ridley?
Ridley is championed as the ultimate antagonist, the indispensable figure. He's not just some monster. He's a cunning space dragon, terrorizing the galaxy, messing with Samus since day one.
Those screeches, iconic. And he just keeps coming back.
Exactly. His persistence, his terror, that defines the scale of the threat in Metroid. The source basically says Ridley is leagues better than anyone else, villain or ally. Him and Dark Samus, they're the absolute icons. They are Metroid's essence.
So if you connect that to Smash Ultimate, the players choosing them are going for that edgy, badass vibe, that raw power, and the lore connection.
That seems to be the implication. It suggests the real core of Metroid isn't heroism, it's fear, it's Phazon, it's this inescapable recurring conflict.
Okay, that sets a theme. Let's see if it holds. Shifting over to Donkey Kong.
Oh, it holds. The argument here is maybe even more pointed. King K. Rool. He's the only one that matters. Period.
Not Donkey Kong, the main ape himself.
Yep. DK gets dismissed. Just simple brute strength, apparently. An obnoxious hero persona. K. Rool, though.
He gets the praise.
Big time. For his cunning, his intelligence, his ruthless ambition. He brings actual narrative depth, He's not just big. He's a commander, a strategist.
And the look, K. Rool definitely has a distinct style.
The source loves it. Calls it an absolute unit, commands attention. Whether it's the pirate gear from DKC2 or the crown and cake, his style just crushes the Kong's simplicity, according to this. It's very much about the aesthetic.
And how does this tie into Smash? Because his gameplay is pretty unique.
Exactly. The source ties his look directly to his gameplay. It's not just raw power. It's brutal force mixed with clever tricks, flair.
Like the crown toss. The cannonball recovery.
Precisely. The blunderbuss, yeah. Using those effectively rewards a more sophisticated, even ruthless playstyle. And that belly armor.
Letting you absorb hits and trade blows. Very kingly.
Right. It reflects that unyielding nature.
Yeah.
So choosing K. Rool in this view shows technical skill and a strategic mind that, well, maybe DK players don't need as much.
Okay, so from Jungle Tyrants, let's jump to Space Mercenaries, Star Fox. Does the pattern continue?
Absolutely. The true powerhouse isn't the hero Fox McCloud. It's Wolf O'Donnell.
The anti-hero appeal.
Totally. Wolf brings this gritty, ruthless sophistication. Fox is, following the rules for Corneria. Wolf's out there plotting, running the criminal underworld, commanding respect through fear.
And his design is pretty iconic. The eye patch, the scar.
The source zeroes in on that. The sharp eyes, the posture, that scar, it screams menace, experience, consequences. He's the guy who gets things done, even if it means crossing lines. He's not playing nice.
And in Smash, Fox is fast, but Wolf...
Wolf is characterized as pure, aggressive precision. Power, speed, but also these efficient, vicious aerials, using the Wolfen, the blaster, that reflector. It's lethal.
So the argument is Fox might be agile, but Wolf is efficient, deadly.
And fundamentally cooler. That's the bottom line here.
Yeah.
Wolf is the definitive character from Star Fox for this perspective.
Okay, so it seems like the moment a character leans dark, like Wolf, or holds institutional power, like K. Rool, this source material just elevates them.
Pretty much, yeah.
But what about a series like Kirby, where the hero is, well, the opposite of dark and gritty?
Ah, yes. The rejection of the hero concept gets really fierce here. The source material has this incredibly strong dismissal of Kirby himself.
Let me guess, too cute.
Way beyond too cute. Endless, obnoxious cuteness, annoying baby, and this is pretty brutal, a pink blob who swallows everything in sight without discrimination.
Wow. Okay. Savage take on the little guy. So if Kirby's out, who is in?
The focus shifts immediately to the ones who supposedly do matter. King Deed, Meta Knight, and Dark Meta Knight. Authority, skill, and chaos.
Deed first. The king.
Heralded is the king, yeah. The ultimate ruler, the necessary villain. The source says Deed drives the narrative, makes things happen, without gimmicks or cheap tricks. Just simple, unwavering authority. That's respected here.
Okay, makes sense in this framework. And Meta Knight, the mysterious swordsman.
Embodiment of class, mystery, unmatched sword skill. The cape, the mask, the speed. He's the pinnacle warrior.
What about Galactonite? He's often seen as Meta Knight's rival or superior.
Dismissed. The source calls Galactonite a joke, an overhyped warrior, lacks the grounded history, the gravitas of Meta Knight, apparently.
Interesting. So they prefer the established, slightly less cosmic version. And Dark Meta Knight.
He's the apex for Kirby in this view. Pure, unbridled chaos. The source calls him a more savage, ruthless, and just aesthetically cooler counterpart from the mirror world.
No morality, which makes him more compelling to study, perhaps.
Exactly. So those three, Deed, Meta Knight, Dark Meta Knight, they're the only true icons. Kirby himself. Too pure, too simple, gets left behind.
Okay, let's shift to Hyrule, The Legend of Zelda. Does the source narrow things down again? I feel a pattern.
You bet. Immediately, only 2 specific games are deemed truly relevant, which tells you a lot about the tone they're looking for.
Which ones?
Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword. Twilight Princess gets the nod for being dark, atmospheric, and for Link turning into a wolf.
Wolf Link, okay.
Yeah, the source specifically praises that because it has vibes of like a hack-and-slash game, almost like Sonic Unleashed's Werehog form. It brings grit, viciousness that traditional Link maybe lacks.
And Skyward Sword. That one's known more for its story.
Right. Praised for having one of the most emotionally deep foundational stories in the whole series. Sits up the whole cycle.
But even with those games singled out, I'm guessing Link isn't the main focus here?
Not at all. The real focus, the absolute core character, according to this source, it's Ganondorf.
Okay, the ultimate villain. Why him over Link?
The argument is Ganondorf is the true heart. He has a rich backstory, clear motivation, this complex moral ambiguity, while Link is just a blank slate.
I mean, you could argue Link evolves across the games. He's the hero of courage. That has to count for something, right? People project onto him, sure, but there's history there.
And that's precisely the counterargument the source makes. It says, we project the complexity onto Link because he is a blank slate. Ganondorf embodies complexity from the get-go.
How do they frame his complexity?
He's analyzed as a tragic figure,
Yeah.
constantly striving for power, for his people's place, in a world that basically rejects him because he's the one male Gerudo born every century.
Yeah.
His ambition, his rage, his manipulations.
He drives the whole conflict.
Exactly. He's the catalyst for the entire series, the embodiment of chaos pushing against the Triforce's order. The source argues, without Ganondorf, the lore just falls apart. That makes him the definitive character.
Okay, so moving from Hyrule to the Mushroom Kingdom, Mario. Given the trend, I'm guessing Mario himself doesn't fare well in this analysis?
Fares well. He gets absolutely sidelined. Mario and his, quote, pathetic friends, that's Luigi, Peach, Daisy, Yoshi, even Rosalina and Luma, they're all dismissed. Narrative filler, just there to be rescued or to, fill out the roster. The true core of the Mario franchise, according to this perspective, it's the Koopa hierarchy.
The Koopa hierarchy. Okay, who's in that?
Bowser, Roy Koopa, Piranha Plant, and Wendy Koopa, they define the series.
Right, starting with Bowser, the big guy himself.
He's positioned as the king, the ultimate antagonist, but also kind of a metaphor for never giving up, always coming back, always pushing against Mario and Mushroom Kingdom. Plus, his design is iconic, imposing. He's everywhere.
And his Smash moveset.
Lauded as pure chaos and power. You got to commit to playing Bowser. Brute force, big swings, that fiery flair.
Okay, so Bowser's the foundation. Then Roy Koopa. Now wait, which Roy are we talking about here? There's two in Smash.
Ah, yes. Source is very specific. This is Roy Koopa, the Koopaling, the true Roy.
Not the Fire Emblem one.
Explicitly dismissed. Fire Emblem's Roy is called a poor imitation. We'll get back to Fire Emblem later. But yeah, the Koopaling Roy, he's more compelling, more badass. The sunglasses help, apparently, and an absolute powerhouse in Smash.
What makes the Koopaling Roy superior in Smash, according to this?
It's technical. His attacks, unlike most sorties, have a sweet spot closer to the hilt.
So you have to get right in their face. Riskier playstyle.
Exactly. That focus on precision, risk, aggression. It perfectly fits the source's preference for skill over just, zoning with a longsword. He's the one and only true Roy.
Okay, point taken on Roy, but Piranha Plant.
Yeah.
Seriously, elevated to icon status.
Seriously. Not just some mook enemy. Called a true gem. Its inclusion in Smash is celebrated.
Why? Because it's unexpected.
Partly that, yeah. But also its unique, quirky, unpredictable moveset. The poison breath, that long-range spike ball.
Yeah.
It's fresh, comedic, but surprisingly effective. Viable.
And the source actually uses Piranha Plant to suggest future characters.
It does. It extrapolates from Piranha Plant and says if they do another comedic enemy character in the next Smash, it absolutely has to be the Motobug.
The little ladybug badnik from Sonic.
Yes, but specifically the design from Sonic Generation.
Why that specific one?
Because, according to the source, the Generation's Motobug looks like a genuinely threatening, killer robot. An Eggman world domination machine.
As opposed to the original.
Which looks like, and I quote, a Fisher-Price-inspired toy. It's all about capturing that inherent menace in the aesthetic, even for a joke character.
Okay, that's incredibly specific. Back to the Koopaling's Wendy Kooper.
Yep. Her importance comes from her sass, her style, that commanding presence. Plus, she's cited as one of the smarter Koopalings.
And Smash.
Her moveset is described as sharp and precise, like her wit.
Yeah.
Those unique ring projectiles need careful spacing, timing, again, rewarding skill.
Now, for people playing Smash Ultimate, Roy and Wendy aren't separate characters, right? They're costumes for Bowser Jr.
Crucial point.
Okay.
The source highlights this mechanic. You pick Bowser Jr., then you have to use the shoulder buttons, L or R on the Joy-Con, to cycle through the skins to get to Roy or Wendy.
And this is seen as a good thing.
An amazing feature, actually, because it lets players bypass the generic Bowser Jr. and choose the superior Koopalings instead. It's about having access to the better options.
Makes sense within their logic. Okay, before we leave Mario, one notable villain missing from that hierarchy is Wario. Why exclude him? He's definitely an icon.
Yeah, the source acknowledges his icon status, but argues he doesn't count towards the serious legacy of the main Mario universe.
Because of his spin-offs.
Exactly. His focus is seen as being on Wario Land treasure hunting and WarioWare microgames. Those antics are considered totally separate from the core conflict, the Bowser versus Mario dynamic, the platforming world. He's off doing his own thing. Okay, so this loyalty isn't just about who's good or evil or how they play. It gets really deep into aesthetics, specific costumes, even specific genders.
Right. The visual presentation is clearly paramount for this perspective.
And the source material gets incredibly detailed about the correct look. Let's circle back to Wario for a second, just for his outfit. The default biker gear, absolutely not the one.
No. What's the preferred look then? It's got to be the retro yellow and purple overalls, the classic look.
From Super Mario Land 2, the Wario Land games.
Precisely. That's his roots. The look of a working-class schemer, a treasure hunter. The source argues it's iconic, tied to his legacy. The biker outfit. Too flashy, lacks the charm, the roughness of his original look.
Okay, nostalgia preference. But it gets even more specific, doesn't it?
Oh, this is where it gets wild. The source points out a tiny detail. When Wario charges his waft move, in the overalls, the clothing actually covers his belly button bulge.
Seriously? That's a factor.
Apparently, this detail provides a wholesome, grounded look. The biker outfit, by contrast, emphasizes his midsection too much, leading to the description that it feels like partial nudity.
So the preference is based on nostalgia and a desire for more belly coverage.
Bizarre, right? But it shows how deep this aesthetic preference goes. It's not just broad strokes, it's tiny details.
Okay, moving from Wario's waistline to Fire Emblem. Here, the preference becomes about gender, and the source isn't subtle about it. Not at all. For the customizable main characters, Robin, Corrin, and Byleth, the mandate is crystal clear. Only the female versions are worthy.
And the male versions.
The critique is exceptionally harsh. They're called worthless impersonators, placeholders. And the source even uses this term, Rule 63-centric imitations.
Rule 63, like the internet rule about gender-swapped character.
Exactly. The implication is the male versions feel derivative, like they were just created to check a box, offer a male option, rather than being the genuine character.
That's a strong judgment on narrative and design intent. So why are the female versions seen as superior?
It comes down to emotional depth and presence, apparently. Male Robin, male Corrin, male Byleth. They like it. Female Robin. She's the definitive tactician, the intellectual depth, the command, it resonates.
And female Corrin.
She's the true emotional anchor of her story. Real substance, real agency in navigating her messed up family situation, not just passive.
And female Byleth.
She navigates Fodlan with both authority and compassion. There's an emotional weight there that the male version, according to this source, just completely lacks.
So it's a powerful argument for a specific gendered interpretation of these characters, tying it directly to narrative impact.
Definitely. And this preference for the better version, whether it's darker, updated, or aesthetically preferred, continues right into Pikmin and Kid Icarus.
Okay, Pikmin, who's the chosen one there? Not Olimar, I'm guessing?
Nope. Olimar is outdated. The only one that matters is Alf from Pikmin 3. He represents the future, the new, improved version.
And Alf, like the Koopalings, is an alternate costume for Olimar in Smash, right?
Exactly. The source loves this. It gives players a fresh, modern look without losing the core strategic gameplay. Alf is the face of the next generation of Pikmin exploration in this view.
Okay, and Kid Icarus. Pit versus Dark Pit, let me guess.
You got it. Dark Pit is celebrated. He's the better, superior anti-hero.
Why? What's wrong with Pit?
Kit's seen as naive, predictable, too earnest. Dark Pit. He's rebellious, independent, got that snark, that attitude. Makes him way more compelling, more dynamic.
And the look helps, I imagine.
Big time. The sleek, edgy design, the black wings, undeniably cooler than Pit's white robes. Dark Pit isn't just an echo. He's a separate, superior force. His playstyle is seen as more versatile, more vicious sometimes. He's the true anti-hero of that series.
Okay, this aesthetic dominance is relentless. Finally, let's tackle the dilemmas in Animal Crossing, Wii Fit, and Pokemon Trainer. Starting with Animal Crossing.
Only the female villager matters. Full stop. And not just any female villager.
Let me guess, a specific outfit.
Do you know it? She must be wearing the Daisy shirt, that specific soft pink shirt with the flower, and have pink hair.
Why that look?
It's tied to old Animal Crossing. Wild World artwork, apparently. Embodies warmth, timeless charm. It's the flawless, classic representation. Male villager, other villagers, just background noise, lacking that specific nostalgic power.
Okay, so female preference there, but then Wii Fit Trainer flips it, right? Despite the female trainer being the original face.
Or completely flips it. Here, only the male Wii Fit Trainer matters.
YM.
He's praised for his unique energy, calm, collected demeanor, precision, control in battle. He has this zen-like quality.
Representing inner strength, focus.
Exactly. Discipline, mental clarity. Qualities the female trainer supposedly lacks because she's too overtly enthusiastic, maybe. His animations, his victory poses, they're subtle, balanced. He's the silent hero of inner focus.
Wow, okay. And wrapping up this section, Pokemon Trainer in Smash Ultimate, Red versus Leaf.
No contest for the source.
Yeah.
Leaf, the female trainer, is the definitive one.
And Red, the original protagonist.
Generic. Stiff, the basic factory setting.
So what makes Leaf superior?
Her whole look is just more distinct, more detailed. The source goes into it. The slightly messy dark brown hair, sleeveless teal shirt, pinkish red skirt, the cyan socks, the shoes, the white bucket hat with the Pokeball logo, that signature bright yellow messenger bag.
That is very specific.
It is. She's seen as the perfect blend of adventure, specificity, nostalgia, charm, energy. She's the only choice that makes sense as the main rep.
Until
Maybe another fan favorite like Blue, Gary Oak, becomes playable. But until then, Leaf holds the crown.
All right, let's step outside the Nintendoverse now and look at the third-party characters in Smash. Does this philosophy of anti-heroes and aesthetic supremacy carry over?
Oh, absolutely. The source establishes a clear hierarchy here, too. It starts with the primary duo,
Who are the essentials?
Sonic the Hedgehog and Mega Man.
Okay, the blue duo. Sonic first.
Sonic the Blue Blur, he's the main priority. Praised for speed, obviously, but also his personality. Cocky, arrogant, that 90s attitude.
And compared to Mario.
He's explicitly called a cooler enemy rival to Mario. And Mario gets dismissed again as a stupid plumber with the personality of wet cardboard.
Ouch. So Sonic's appeal is that anti-establishment flair.
Yeah, appeals to teens, adults. That defining arrogance is key.
And Mega Man, the blue bomber.
He's the secondary main. His strength is versatility, the ability to copy weapons from defeated bosses, Lee Shield, Top Spin, Metal Blade.
Which translates well to Smash's mechanics.
Perfectly. It showcases his adaptability, his resourcefulness, reflects his heroism through his technical capability in Smash.
Okay, so Sonic and Mega Man are the core, but the source accepts others too, right? A supplementary roster.
Correct. There's a list of essential supplementary fighters. They're not the absolute top tier like Sonic or Mega Man for the source, but they're necessary.
Who makes the cut?
Pac-Man is in. Classic, unpredictable gameplay, massive history, a true pioneer.
Makes sense. Who else?
Solid Snake. Essential for his unique stealth, tactics, explosives. The source even mentions the, personal joy felt when he returned in Ultimate after skipping Smash 4. His inclusion validates serious tactile games on Nintendo.
Okay, Pac-Man, Snake.
Bayonetta. All about style, witch time, those complex combos. Rewards highly technical, aggressive players.
Fits the power and style theme.
Definitely. Then Joker. Fresh, stylish, versatile, especially with Arsene boosting his power and changing his look mid-fight. Very dynamic.
Sephiroth. Gotta be in there for sheer villainous presence.
Absolutely. Massive sword, incredible range, dramatic flair. Feels like controlling a force of nature.
And rounding it out.
Banjo and Kazooie. Quirky, humorous moveset, but mostly for that powerful hit of N64 rare era nostalgia.
Okay, so that's the approved third-party list. Sonic, Mega Man, Pac-Man, Snake, Bayonetta, Joker, Sephiroth, Banjo, and Kazooie. But that leaves out quite a few big names.
It does. And this is where the deep dive gets really critical, maybe even provocative. There's a whole segment dedicated to the rest of the third-party roster, dismissing them as irrelevant outsiders.
Okay, lay it on us. Who's irrelevant according to this source?
The list includes Ryu, Ken, Shulk, Pyramithra, Cloud, Hero from Dragon Quest, Kazuya, Steve, Terry Bogard, and Sora.
Wow, that's a lot of popular characters. What's the reasoning? Why are they deemed irrelevant?
The criticism is harsh. Basically, they offer nothing of interest to what the source considers the true Smash experience, the one defined by anti-heroes, iconic legacy, and unique mechanics.
Can we break that down? Like Cloud and Shulk, huge RPG heroes.
Dismissed as generic, moody RPG heroes. Their sword-fighting styles are called boring, lacking visual flair or technical depth compared to others.
Ouch. Okay. What about Pyra and Mithra? They're very popular, powerful.
This is where the aesthetic judgment gets extreme. They are described, and I'm quoting the sentiment here, as looking uglier than the witch from the Disney classic, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Whoa. Okay. That's intense. Why such a strong reaction?
It seems to stem from a general disdain in the source material for certain anime-style designs. Overly elaborate costumes, exaggerated features, seen as distracting, not powerful or cool in the way they define it.
All right. And Kazuya and Sora, also popular, but very different styles.
They get lumped together as vile and unappealing. Kazuya, despite being complex technically, is criticized for his, overly aggressive, almost primal design.
And Sora, too cheerful.
Exactly. His youthful, optimistic aesthetic is targeted. They get compared unfavorably to cartoon villains, like Dr. Eggman, or even the Chum Bucket restaurant from SpongeBob.
The Chum Bucket, as an inherently unappealing, poorly presented.
That seems to be the analogy, yeah. Just fundamentally off, visually or thematically.
So the overall conclusion for these rejected characters is?
They dilute the core essence of Smash.
Yeah.
They're seen as temporary, maybe trendy additions that should really take a back seat to the truly iconic fighters, the ones who embody that anti-hero vibe, have stood the test of time, or bring genuinely unique mechanics that break the mold. #tag outro. So if we try to kind of pull all this together, synthesize this whole deep dive, the core philosophy from these sources seems incredibly consistent, doesn't it?
It really does. The characters that truly matter, the ones worth playing, they're defined by a specific set of traits. Superior aesthetics are huge.
Right, the look really matters. Mechanical precision, complexity.
And undeniable power. Often they challenge the status quo. They're not just following orders.
And there's this constant, almost philosophical rejection of the predictable hero. The stupid plumber, the generic space hero, the blank slate, they're pushed aside.
In favor of the antagonist, the anti-hero, or even just the aesthetically better version, the value of a character seems tied directly to their design, the finesse needed for their moveset.
And whether they represent something new or improved over the original protagonist, often needing a skill level that, rewards your intelligence as a player.
Yeah, from Dark Samus being the raw, fans-on power over standard Samus,
To Ganondorf being the necessary tragic catalyst for Hyrule,
to Dark Pit just being the cooler, more rebellious version of Pit.
the pattern is undeniable. Complexity, style, raw power, they absolutely crush traditional goodness and moral certainty in this view.
So we've seen this really clear pattern, rejecting the expected hero, embracing complexity, sometimes darkness, definitely power and style. What does this whole deep dive maybe suggest about, I don't know, the current appetite for heroes in gaming generally?
That's a great question. Are players, maybe subconsciously, drawn more towards the character who has something to prove? The one with the edge, the unique look, the dangerous power.
Rather than the one who just follows the rules, does the right thing. It definitely gives you something to think about. Maybe the next time you're on that character select screen, who are you really choosing and why?
Here's where it gets really interesting.